Hello and welcome to Down the Line. I'm Charlie Malum and I'm here with Ruairi Daly to discuss the best of this weekend's sporting events. Here's what's coming up tonight. We'll be discussing the Six Nations with Longton flanker Mikey Allen. Our resident rugby fanatic heads down to check out their ground.
Nobody likes sports bar.
And me and Rory go to see the Red Bull F1 team ahead of the Australian Grand Prix. As ever, we'll be responding to your questions on Twitter, so tweet in using the hashtag DTL, and we'll have a roundup of your questions before the break. Before that, we simply have to start with Saturday's FA Cup action and Lincoln City's trip to the Emirates. It took Arsenal until first half stoppage time for their first goal, though one did eventually come through Theo Walcott. After that, they comfortably saw off their non-league opponents. Olivier Giroud netted the Gunners' second, before Luke Waterfall turned in Kieran Gibbs' cross and effectively ended the game as a contest at 3-0. Arsenal's talisman Alexis Sanchez scored the fourth goal as Arsenal ran rampant against Lincoln, 88 places below Arsenal in the footballing ladder. Before Aaron Ramsey fired the fifth goal late on. That ensured that Arsene Wenger's men remain on course for a record 13th success in the competition as they reach the semi-finals. No real surprises, Arsenal progressed to the semi-final with ease. So Rory, do you think that result helps make up for their recent poor form?
I really don't think it can. You look at their recent results, you know, they've won 2 of the last 8 games, which were against Sutton and Lincoln. You know, that's not good enough. They're supposed to be a team challenging for the Premier League title, and the only teams they can beat are non-league teams in the FA Cup. Their last 3 meetings with Bayern Munich have been 15-3, and they lost another 5-1 in midweek again. It's simply not good enough for where Arsenal fans expect their club to be, and I don't think it's going to be a pretty season for them.
Yeah, there was Wenger out marches before Wednesday night's game, and Tuesday night, and they lost 5-1 again on the night, and they lost 10-2 on aggregate. So I think it's finally time for Wenger to leave. So I think personally, it could be time for him to step down now.
I think now is the time for him to go. The only reason he stayed beyond last season really was his saving grace was that they got second, because it seemed like the rest of the teams really just didn't want to win the league at all. You know, he had Tottenham falling away and Leicester end up strolling to the Premier League title, which was unthinkable at the start. But Arsenal have always been there and not there. So in order to take that next level now, I think that they need to look for a replacement then beyond this summer.
Big question is who comes in to replace him. There's not a great deal of managerial names out there. Who have you got in your mind? Do you think who could come in?
There isn't many available, but if they push the boat out, there's 2 available in Thomas Tuchel at Borussia Dortmund and Massimo Allegri then at Juventus. Massimo Allegri would probably be the preferred choice for fans in terms of pedigree, because Tuchel's still quite young, and Massimo Allegri's he's been around. He's been at AC Milan previously, so he has that experience, and he's that top level manager that they need if they're going to be ambitious and be able to keep players like Ozil and Sanchez, their standout players at the club.
Does this new manager come in and convince them to stay though?
A new manager coming in will have a tough job of convincing them to stay, because you'd seen it happen at previous clubs where players have moved on regardless of the replacement. It could be that a change maybe is required, maybe at the very, very top of Arsenal Football Club with the board, because that's where it starts. This idea of settling for 4th place, get the Champions League, there's a possibility where they don't make it this year, because there's 6 teams vying for those 4 places. So if Arsenal miss out, then there's questions are certainly going to be asked of the board as well as the manager and the players.
Looks like the club is in need of freshening up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really needs freshened up. There isn't many positive things to say about Arsenal really at the moment. You know, you have fans protesting against easily their best manager in their history. You know, the Invincible. You know, he was manager of the Invincible squad. You know, they went unbeaten for an entire season, and yet you have fans turning around and wanting his head on a stick essentially. It's unbelievable to think where the club have come from in the last decade, and they've only managed to win 2 FA Cups since that Champions League final in 2006.
Not many positives on Arsenal, but there's plenty on Lincoln. Should give a word to them, to the first non-league team in 103 years to reach this stage of the FA Cup, and that's quite an incredible achievement, isn't it?
Certainly is. It's an unbelievable achievement. It's done wonders for the city, for the club. The attendances in the league games have gone up now, It set them up long term for financial stability now. It really shows that what the FA Cup can do. You know, for the smaller teams, for the bigger teams, the Premier League clubs now, the FA Cup's become a bit of a redundant cup, because although the fans love a cup run, 100 million in the Premier League's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And with Lincoln getting that and getting to the quarterfinals, it was fantastic to have a day out at the Emirates Stadium as well for them, for their players and their fans. It was an unbelievable day for them.
Of course, we at Down the Line wish Lincoln all the best in their hopes of being promoted from the National League to the Football League. Moving on to the next round of the FA Cup, though, can Arsenal go on and win the competition?
You look at who's already through. You have Manchester City, and you have Tottenham through. You have Chelsea and Manchester United tonight. So it's not going to be in any way at Wembley. It's not going to be easy. The fan base is going to be split 50-50. You know, Arsenal, the 2 times they've won the FA Cup, they've had a fairly easy run all the way through to the final, and they've managed to win it. But you're looking at who they're facing, you know, 2 London sides or Manchester City managed by Pep Guardiola. It's not easy at all for them. The possibility of facing one of them is just going to be, I think, a step too far for them, the state they're in at the moment.
Cheers, Rory. Moving on now, our first guest on the show this week is Longton flanker Mikey Allen. So we sent our favourite robot to their ground in the latest episode of Sports Pop.
Number 8, we've got Michael Allen. Michael is actually an assistant coach and student. He plays up here at Longton for their first team quite often. Team Staffs take the pitch to a big cheer from the host crowd of Staffs. They're looking fantastic in those new kits.
I'm Sportsbot. I'm here at Staffs versus Kiel, varsity, the rugby, but I really don't like rugby, so I'm going to look for other things to do. Just waiting for the Kiel players to come out now. I'm really excited for this.
Oh, and Kiel are taken to the pitch, received by boos, and the Kiel supporters are making themselves heard at the other side of the pitch. Kiel actually have a very nice playing kit this year. Very, very nice playing kit this year. Whoever selected that, well done Kiel. That is a very nice playing top.
You'll see it later, but it's black with a little bit of yellow.
I missed it. I'm Sportsbot.
You look very cool.
Thanks. I patrol the nation asking sport-related questions.
Okay.
Do you like sport?
Yeah.
What sport?
Football.
Why are you here?
Because my boyfriend's playing.
No. So this is a rugby game, but I've just spotted some football going on over here, which is a much better sport. I just found some football players, so.
We're here to do the rugby though.
But rugby's terrible.
I think it's about to start. I think you can't. These are like 12-year-olds playing football.
Do you have any friends in the team?
No.
No.
Don't have any friends at all.
Do you not?
No.
Man's got no friends.
Nobody likes Sportsbot.
Archie will be your friend.
Do you mind just lifting my... Thank you. Thank you.
Get in. Wonderful insight there from Sportsbot. He'll be off to visit the Great Britain Davis Cup team next week, so that should certainly be interesting. Now we've been joined by Longton's Mikey Allen. How are you doing, Mikey?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
Well, we'll be discussing the Six Nations with you in a moment, but now it's time for the most grueling challenge known to man. It'll test your wits, speed, and endurance. It's on me head.
Guess what's on me, yay. Guess what's on me, yay. Guess what's on the 8? Guess what's on the 8?
Mikey is taking on the challenge today alongside Rory. It's a simple game, Mikey. Mikey will be holding a random card to his head and Rory will have to describe what's written on it in order for Mikey to guess the answer. They need 10 correct answers to stop the clock. Rory, Mikey, are you ready?
We'll give it a go. Let's see how we get on.
1 second. On your marks. Get set. Go.
Right. Oh, no, skip that one. New Zealand number 10.
Bangkok.
Yep. Skip that one.
Not doing great.
Number 3 in rugby.
Prop.
Yep. There we go. And Wheels number 15.
Lee Hoffman.
Yep. Skip that one. This is not going well. Former Ireland number 13, one of the Ireland's greatest. Yep. Whenever the referee goes touch, bind, set, what is it? Yep. Rory Best puts into
Right out.
Yep. The tour this summer, the
British and Irish Lions.
Yep. Dublin Stadium. Or Ireland Stadium, sorry.
Aviva Stadium.
Yep. Not the middle, but the another word for middle.
Centre.
Yep. It's a tournament. It's sponsored by an Irish beer.
Get it?
Yeah, it is. It's the something.
Nearly there. Need one more for 10.
Skip that one. Scotland Stadium.
Murrayfield.
Yep.
There we go, and that's all 10. A valiant effort there, Mikey. Where do you think you'll be on our scorehead?
I was hoping to have pushed Wayne Shaw. Hoping to.
You're hoping to. Do you think you have?
No. More Tim Henman.
Tim Henman, what do you think you're ahead of Tim Henman? Got the score.
I hope so.
I hope we've beat Tim Henman.
I'd be upset if we haven't.
Yeah, I'd be upset we haven't beat Tim Henman.
Well, I can tell you, boys, that you've got 1 minute, 29 seconds. So unfortunately, you are below Tim Henman and just ahead of Frank Mason III. So that's not a. It was a good effort all the same, wasn't it? Anyway, moving on to rugby now, and England's historic win at Twickenham. Then Joseph scored the first try of the evening just 3 minutes in. That was his first of a hat-trick and set the tone for a dominant England performance. England were 20-0 up after 25 minutes with an explosive start, Joseph adding another first half try. To add to Scotland's misery, Xander Ferguson found himself eating grass.
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Joseph soon completed his hat-trick and earned England a 4-try bonus point. Billy Vunipola and Danny Kerr added further tries as England ran away with things. Hugh Jones scored 2 tries for Scotland. But Scotland couldn't prevent Eddie Jones' side racking up the highest score in this oldest of international fixtures, also equalling their biggest winning margin against Scotland. That win secures consecutive Six Nations titles for England, taking their winning streak to 18 games. Mikey, so much has been said about what this winning streak means in a historical context. Do you think it makes this England team one of the best to ever play the game?
Yes and no. Yes, in fact, it's the best I've seen England in my lifetime. Like, the core of their players is exceptional. Like, you've got Owen Farrell, Mike Brown, Dan Cole, one of the best props in the world. Like, you've got a really good, strong core of players. Then you've got young players coming in like Mario Itoje and Ruairi Daly to an extent. So, looking at that perspective, they're very good, but they're not where they should be yet. They will by the next World Cup, but they're not there yet.
How come? Why don't you think they're there just yet?
Inexperience. The average squad age is about 23, 24. Yeah, when England won World Cup in 2003, it was about 28. So they just need that international experience, learning how to cope with different situations, and yeah, they'll get there. It's just time and experience.
So you don't think they've peaked yet? Think they can go on to even greater heights?
Looking at their performances, they struggled against Wales. Italy, they struggled with no rucking. And Scotland, all right, yeah, they blew them away, but there's still a big gulf in class between Scotland and New Zealand. So you can't really say England are the best in the world when they've not played the best in the world.
Despite that, though, do you think Eddie Jones deserves a lot of credit for how much he has improved this team? Because obviously he's not lost since November 2015 when he took over, but he's really improved them, given a lot of confidence, and they're playing just much better than they were before him.
Yeah, I think he's been brilliant. He's brought a bit of fire into the team. They were just lacking an edge to them, and he's now given them that edge, putting Dylan Hartley as captain as well. Like a player who didn't play much under Lancaster because of his discipline, because of his arrogance, because of his attitude.
Yeah.
But he's a good player, he's a born leader, and England have really lacked that. Like Chris Robshaw was a great captain, but Hartley's a statement. I think it's more of a statement than an actual tactical piece of rugby.
Yeah.
He's like a statement, this is how we're going to do it, we're playing on the front foot, we're having an edge about us. So,
Moving on to the next game then, do you think they can break that record against Ireland?
It'll be tough, very tough, especially with Andy Farrell, England's old backs coach, now Ireland's defensive coach. He'll know how England play. So I think you'll agree he's going to add a bit of fire to Ireland's defence.
He'll certainly add a bit to Ireland's game. You can see Ireland, the way they've played this year times, they have this idea of kicking a lot more than in recent years, and they lack fluidity in attack really at times, but you can see them at Dublin, certainly you can see them grinding out a win against England.
Yeah, just on what you said, they kick a lot, but the defence now, it's that they play with a rush defence where they get up in the defender's face, make a decision under pressure. England, whenever that's been applied to them, have struggled.
Yeah.
So it'll be in Ireland's favour this weekend because England will struggle under pressure.
Certainly, the home crowd makes all the difference in the Six Nations this year. You look at teams like Scotland have managed to beat Ireland and Wales. England have managed to go into the Millennium Stadium and win, but Ireland lost there too. So home field advantage has a big part to play in the Six Nations, certainly, and it'll favour Ireland in this game.
Of course, this Ireland side also tripped up the All Blacks' run of invincibility last October. Do you think they can do the same with England?
Yeah, I definitely think they can. They're a bit of a weird team. For example, when they played Scotland, they struggled. But I think that was just inexperience and going to Scotland thinking, oh, we'll win. So like the young backs, you've got Gary Ringrose and that he got taught a lesson by Hugh Jones, who's just Scotland's 13. But I think that's just experience. Like they know how to play in big games. They've played for the best teams in the world several times, Ireland have, and they've beaten England 3 or 4 times on Grand Slam weekends in Dublin in the past. So it's going to be a real struggle for England to go there and get a result.
Thanks, lads. Just before we go to a break, we've been rounding up your best tweets using the hashtag DTL. Let's take a look at them. Going to smash on my head next week. Thoughts on that, guys? Obviously, you've just gone through 1:29.
It separates the men from the boys. That certainly.
Don't think Andy Murray can beat you and Tim Henman then? No.
I don't think he'd beat us. So he'd be behind Tim Henman, which is controversial, certainly.
Next one. I can't believe you've done this. Sorry, Jolien. It was a toss-up between yourself and Vincent Kompany, between the biggest heads in football, and you were the loser, I'm afraid. Clear. Next one, Mikey. Can Ireland beat England next week? Well, we almost sort of answered this, but do you think they can?
Yes, and it'll be a very tight game. Be within one try.
Yeah, it'll be within one try. You'd say it'll be the difference of a kick or two. It maybe comes down to if Owen Farrell can convert his kicks. Maybe we'll have to wait and see.
I think that it'll be something as small as that decides the game.
It'll be
small margins, won't it? Yeah.
Certainly, it'll be small margins that'll decide that game next week. Yeah.
On to the next one. Why does Sportspot hate rugby so much? Well, we're not really sure. We'll ask him that before he goes to see the Davis Cup team next week and see if he's got any response for you. Rory, who's going to finish 4th in the Premier League?
At the moment, you'd probably have to say Liverpool, because Manchester United and Arsenal, obviously, they're up and down.
Yeah.
You can see them being the lesser of the two in those bunch of 6. I'd probably back Liverpool at this stage, yeah.
But Arsenal know how to finish 4th.
Yeah.
They've scraped it that many times under Wenger. They know how to finish in the top 4, so it'll be close.
It will be really
tough
close.
Fixtures before the end of the season.
Yeah.
One more. Who's winning promotion to the Premier League? Who do you think?
I think Newcastle.
Newcastle.
That squad's too good. Benitez is a great manager as well.
Yeah. And you'd probably have to back them.
Brighton as well.
Back Brighton as well to go up maybe as well. Yeah. Maybe Leeds from the playoffs. We'll have to see. It would be great to see them go up.
It certainly would. Thank you so much, Mikey, for coming on. We'll be back after the break when we visit the Red Bull F1 team, and we'll be talking about new England cricket captain Joe Root. Don't go anywhere.